Modern dating is a mess, and this is why it won't get better. Because of the red flag and green flag videos and everything in between, nobody is willing to have a difficult conversation. Hey, I'm kind of noticing some things that are giving me some vibes that I'm not super comfortable with. Oh, really? Well, care to share with me in a non-threatening and non-judgmental way how you feel? Oh, sure, because I actually want to work with you to get to know you and to negotiate. Oh, you mean before you discard me like everyone else does in modern dating? That's super nice of you. Yeah, that's what needs to happen, but you and I both know that it won't.
One of the major issues that I see in the dating world is you have average women do not want average men. And you have women who will spend their 20s chasing Chad, racking up high body counts, passing on good men who are actually on their level. And I think a lot of average women would rather be a side chick or casual only with like a really attractive guy than in a relationship with an average guy. It seems to me that average women want above average men. If you're delusional, you're gonna be disappointed. There are gonna be a ton of men that will sleep with you but never give you commitment.
Being solo poly, my partners don't interact with each other. Have my partners at a point in time met each other? Sure. But they are not in relationship with each other. They are all in relationship with me.
Wow.
So clearly, you know, I advocate for open lifestyles. Because for those of us that have the capacity to love many, and for those of us that have the capacity to fuck many,
Right.
we can do it consensually,
Okay.
and in full awareness of each other, through open relating and open living.
Okay.
And you know, earlier this year, I created a chart because I needed it for myself first.
Experiences from the present day make it obvious why so many guys have doubts about dating in the modern era. Many people believe that women view dating as essentially a means of achieving financial independence. This is made more difficult by the high standards that modern women frequently set for themselves, particularly when they dominate the dynamics of intimacy. For some guys, this has made dating seem more and more pointless. Historically, men have frequently provided their time and attention as payment for intimacy. These days, dating frequently resembles a transactional activity. Imagine messaging a woman on a dating app or approaching her, offering to let her pick the location, only for her to pick the most ostentatious location. Then, during the date, she imposes the 3-date rule, giving the impression that she wants to set the pace for intimacy, even though the man might actually be interested in developing a relationship.
So what's your solution for the men?
My solution to the men?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of them struggle with understanding women from an emotional standpoint. They got married young, they didn't value the same things, and now they're kind of both at this precipice where they've had children, or they're kind of stuck raising the kids and they don't know what to do. So you have two other options. You can divorce and be happy and go your separate ways and find someone that you do value and you guys value the same things, because people do change considerably, or you get into therapy and you understand why you're fighting so much and why she's so pissed off at you that she doesn't want to have sex with you. It goes way back to really attachment and bonding, and people have a choice. Like, they can either decide that we're in this, we're going forward, like we're doing this, or it's time to split up.
The only recipe to a long-term successful relationship is to never leave. That's the only way you can get 30, 40 years, to never leave. Yeah. Because we're going to go through some things. And there's going to be a lot of things that I say, this is it. This is the non-negotiable. But if I really am in it to be in it forever, like from the beginning, before I meet a man, I'm saying when I commit, I'm just doing this forever. That means I'm signing up and forgiving you before you do any of the bullshit you may come with. And that's challenging, but that's what real commitment is. Commitment is, I'm going to do what I said I was going to do, no matter how I feel. That goes back to what? Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is a nucleus to any healthy relationship. If I'm committing to you and you piss me off, I've committed to stay. So where am I going? Where am I going? Doesn't mean I can't take a break. Doesn't mean I can't take a pivot. I can't go to brunch. I can't meditate. Can I take a weekend of woosah? But that means I'm not leaving you. Because leaving you while you're in your emotion is the pit of abandonment. That's worse than me walking out and returning. I should be able to sit in this with you, upset or not upset, until our emotions do whatever they're.
This is the thing I hear from all women nowadays. We're all the masculine men. I'll tell you, the second you meet them, you run and hide.
Because they don't want to sacrifice a part within themselves, so that would require them to show up.
Men are not willing to give up their commitment for somebody that is still committed to other things. And women need to really understand that, is that it's not easy to be with a real man. Most women say they want a high-value alpha male. They don't. They've been trained to want men that lie to their face, and that needs to be challenged.
Following the date, there might be justifications offered, such as car problems, ailing parents, or being stuck, indicating that dating has become a means of financial support for some women. Some guys, nevertheless, give money voluntarily out of misguided passion.
I want you to take them on dates. They want you to spend money and do all this stuff. And what are they doing for you? Heck, a majority of the time, they don't even want to give you sex.
Whoever started the independent women movement, like, take it back. Or take me off the list. Because that whole I don't need a man thing is so confusing.
I almost broke up with my husband because I thought he was boring. Turns out he was just healthy and sane. You see, when I was dating my husband, I realized how joyful he was, how active he was, how motivated, career, goal-driven, money saver, never wanted any problems. And every time we became misaligned, he would just want to sit down and talk about it calmly, hear each other out, forgive each other if necessary, and just move on and continue growing. And I misinterpreted this as him not fighting for my love. You see, I grew up in a very chaotic type of love, the novela type, where everybody's slamming doors, yelling at each other, you don't talk to each other for days. And so I thought that that was love. I thought that that was passion. And what I want to remind you of is to look back at the type of love that you grew up around and ask yourself if you were just addicted to a chaotic, dramatic type of love, and realize that that's not the type of love that you need now in your relationship, that you need now to grow. God doesn't want that for you. You understand? Look at that for a second and ask yourself, how do you want to?
This is an all too familiar scenario for males who have been dating for some time. I was once willing to take a chance on Western women. I had a hopeful talk with a conventional Western woman who upheld the notion that a guy should support his girlfriend financially. But after reading several accounts of paternity fraud and financially motivated divorces, my viewpoint rapidly shifted. I came to the conclusion that maybe I should not choose Western ladies as a result of my disillusionment.
Taylor Swift, you think she's the most toxic feminist that's ever existed. You stand by that?
Yes.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. You want to talk about what she did to Scooter Braun? Scooter Braun simply bought a company and inherited her master's as a result of that. She jumps on Tumblr and she manipulates a bunch of 15-year-olds into believing, I wrote these songs on my floor and Scooter Braun, the evil man, is trying to take them from me. The reality, her dad owned 15% of the company. Her dad, therefore, was aware that the business was being sold. Her dad signed the deal.
Well, she had the last laugh.
And they rioted and they stopped. I'm not done. They threatened to kill Scooter Braun and his children. He publicly pleaded with her to please tell her fans to stop, and she didn't do it because she wanted out of her contract.
And hold on. And she's interesting because she just she's an interesting girl.
Well, that's why I picked her.
That's why I picked her, huh?
You said women aren't interesting.
Most are not interesting.
So you just don't agree with like
just
traditional
the ones you
relationships are interesting.
It's a traditional relationship. What do you mean?
Traditional, like old school.
Well, I come from a background where the men have multiple women.
Oh, okay.
Women. So I don't think monogamy is not that's a lie.
Low body counts are what's desired, but I'm a virgin and guys, like, not all of them think that's a good thing. Like, some get mad, like, not mad, but they'll be like frustrated and think that's a negative because they're like, oh, she don't want to talk to her.
Are you waiting until marriage, or
not specifically?
You're just maybe looking for the right guy, for love, maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
But probably for most guys, they hear that, they're gonna think, okay, I don't want to wait that long.
Yeah.
Which
so
I
think it's fair of them to take my body count into consideration when deciding whether or not they want to pursue me.
Well, I mean, that's probably good for you because if their primary interest when it comes to courting you, and they're weeding themselves out, so you probably wouldn't want to date a guy that just wants to.
Yeah.
So.
If you go for the guy that treats you like trash because he's exciting, just remember that that man is not afraid to lose you. And that's because he doesn't really care for you that much. And you're never going to change that. So once you date a few of these guys, one after another, that's when you're going to look around and say, where are all the good guys? And I'm going to tell you, that good guy left your friend zone years ago to find his queen. I don't know about you, do what you want, but I'd rather be the queen.
The subject of paying for services has additional complications. In addition to the ease of avoiding emotional baggage, financial strains, and time-consuming relationships, problems frequently associated with modern relationships. Men who pay for escorts do so in order to avoid physical connection. I'm not advocating for the sex trade, which is illegal in many countries. But if it's permitted where you are, it might be a method to satisfy needs without the complexities of child support or alimony. There are more intimate choices, such friends with benefits arrangements, for people who prefer to go their own way. In these circumstances, both partners consent to a relationship that is solely physical and devoid of emotional links. Men, meanwhile, need to exercise caution in what are known as de facto relationships, which arise when individuals behave as a pair but make no official promises. Unexpected legal duties, such as those involving child custody and financial support, may result from this.
And I sent her a message that said, I'm thinking of you. And she sent me a message back that said, hey, I hope you're well. To be honest, when you send me things like that, I don't really know what to say. She said, we haven't really been that close for a while now. And rightly or wrongly, this message comes across as a bid for attention. That stung, firstly, because it was true. When she says we haven't been that close for a while now, what that's pointing out is the intimacy of what I just sent, or the affection of what I just sent, is completely out of sync with the temperature of our dynamic. Then when she said rightly or wrongly, this message comes across as a bid for attention. Even that is a very powerful language structure, because what you're saying is I might be wrong.
Yes.
In which case, it's almost like the subtext is, you're more than welcome to prove me wrong. When you send that, for me, immediately I was like, I caught myself.
Women have realized that very quickly. What's happened is that women are starting to realize that in order to get a man to invest in you, to marry you, to have that kind of home, gone are the days where he's looking for somebody that will just treat you well and be loyal to you. They are willing to sacrifice that in order to be with a woman who looks great and knows how to perform sexually. So what's happened is the measuring stick which men use to invest in a woman is how much she pleases him sexually. So the good women, or the women that are not so sexually averse or not so attractive, are just thinking, I don't stand a chance really, because even unattractive men can replace women with pornography, but unattractive women don't have a way of replacing men. So they suffer, or they might turn to is surgeries and fillers and all that sort of stuff. So being an unattractive woman is a really difficult time to be alive for them. I think a lot of people talk about how hard it is for men that can't get women. But
you said you'd like to talk about how hard it is to date in this day and age.
It's like with social media, it's like everything is, it's so hard because you just have constant temptation. Like you have constant, you can hit up a girl in their DMs and you can do this, and it's just constant temptation all the time. It's so easy to not value the person you're in because you think you deserve someone better, or you're looking at this girl and why doesn't, just comparison. It's just so mental, you know? And so it just makes things a lot more difficult, I think.
But you don't have to do social media.
That's true.
Or you could also
how would I meet people then?
Wait, so are you saying social media is a bad thing or a good thing?
Dating wise, definitely, I think it's bad. I think it's toxic and bad.
Didn't you say that's how you meet people?
Yeah, it's the only way I meet people.
Because she wants to stay home.
Yeah, right. I'm a homebody though. I'm a homebody. I don't really go out. I don't really, I don't drink. I don't go out. I'm a complete homebody.
Unfortunately, partnerships these days tend to require males to navigate intricate legal and societal nuances, which can give men the impression that the deck is loaded against them. Many guys feel disillusioned and overwhelmed by the complex dynamics of dating and commitment. In conclusion, men are increasingly looking into other options that more closely fit their wants and expectations as the difficulties associated with modern dating continue to rise. In an effort to safeguard their emotional and financial well-being, many men are re-evaluating how they approach relationships, whether that means eschewing traditional dating in favor of informal arrangements or emphasizing self-reliance.
What do you think of dating apps?
Really want to go here?
Of course I want to go.
Okay. I think that dating apps are a perfect example of something which is both convenient and enjoyable, but not good for you. They have certainly opened up more opportunities for people to meet potential partners. And yet, we are in a world with the highest rates of sexlessness amongst young people. 1 in 3 men between the ages of 18 and 30 hasn't had in the last year. That only half of men between the ages of 18 and 30 are looking for a relationship. Well, if the promises of easy access online dating were so true, how is it that we've ended up with a world where people are having less than ever? That sexlessness has also increased for women too. There are more childless women at 30 than there are women with children. There's a study from Morgan Stanley that says by 2040, 45% of 25 to 45-year-old women will be single and childless. If online dating was creating this perfect facilitation for relationships to start, how are we ending up with all of these outcomes?
A common complaint I hear from women these days is how difficult it is to find a man to commit to them. Apparently it's hard enough to find a good man in general, and it's even harder to get that good man to commit to a long-term relationship. And why might that be? So I'm of the mind that most people are mostly rational. Nobody's entirely rational, but most people are mostly rational, which means that most people are making decisions based on what they believe to be their perceived best choice in their range of optionality within the rule-based system in which they operate. To the extent that that's true, that might mean that men are disincentivized from commitment in modern relationships. If you'd like to learn more about this, check out my episode, Why Modern Dating Doesn't Work. Thanks for listening.
And that concludes today's discussion on MGTOW Voice. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on future videos. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you all